First of all, that would be the number one thing, is I would ask the judge and those superiors of mine not to lay these people off, because each person plays a vital role in fire suppression at this point. We do not have anybody that is not necessary. Other than that, I would request that 4 stations be opened up and resume staffing as we always have.
Principally, I guess to say it differently, are you suggesting to the court that maintaining the status quo now is absolutely necessary?
Absolutely. We understand that the economy is bad and everything, and we're willing to do what we can, but at this point in time, the safety of the citizens really are a very important, the most important part of all this, and we cannot operate without having these guys on duty.
And looking at these numbers compared to previous years, in order to meet the $7.8 million budget, it was determined that we would have to lay off 10 firefighters to meet that budget.
Have you initiated a process to lay off those 10 firefighters?
I have started that process and put those notices out. They're effective tomorrow morning.
What was the approximate dollar amount of deficit that needed to be made up to balance that budget?
About $600,000.
And again, I believe Mr. Pulaski may have testified to this, but each week that those 10 remain on the payroll without additional monies being available, what is the cost, in your opinion, to the city?
Approximately $15,000 a week. If we are bound to have a balanced budget, so we have no choice of balancing.
What we have uncontroverted before the court is evidence to the effect that there will be dire consequences faced by the people and their property here in Elyria as early as this weekend, if the proposed actions of the city are to come about. We have presented to the court through the testimony of 2 persons, highly skilled and expert in these matters, opinions which are essentially confirming the likelihood, a very specific, very real likelihood that those things will happen. We know, Judge, as early as Saturday, the city will be unable to respond to emergency medical circumstances that might otherwise befall the citizens of the city. I can't imagine that any of us, notwithstanding what the other factors are that cause us to be here, and at the sake of sounding presumptuous, we cannot believe the administration wants to be in a position where the fire department will not be able to respond to persons in need, persons in serious need as early as Saturday. That prevents a very real problem, a very real risk, and we believe provides a proper basis for this court to take on its responsibility to check the performance of this governmental body in meeting its statutory duties.
With all due respect, I'm not sure it's the place of the judicial branch, unless there's some unconstitutional conduct or outrageous conduct of some kind taking place, to step in and supplant its thoughts for those of an elected city council charged with those duties. The law I set out in a brief, I won't belabor it. The elements for their relief that they're asking is a strong and substantial likelihood of success on the merits, irreparable injury to the plaintiff, or if the order is not granted, lack of substantial harm to the defendants and others if the order is issued, the public interest will be served by granting the order. They have the burden of proof, clear and convincing evidence. We don't believe they've met their burden of proof. We think it would be inappropriate for the court at this point to grant a temporary injunction. And with that, we'll rest and abide by the court's ruling. Thank you.
It goes beyond just the $15,000 a week to the city. I won't say it's a drop in the bucket, but compared to the overall scope of the budget, I could see how, Mr. Riley, you could make the argument to me, come on, a couple of months, what's the harm? $60,000 one month, $120,000. It's not the end of the world. The city can cut something in from the Parks Department or something, or not open the swimming pools. But I don't think that I should make that decision for the city. Maybe they should make that decision, but I'm going to leave that up to the appropriate branches to do that. The lack of substantial harm. If I do something and they decide, well, that in order to meet Mr. Riley's request for his clients, we have to cut something from the police department, I'm going to have somebody else filing very similar action, asking me to do the same thing. I know I haven't made some friends by this. Sometimes, but you got to follow the law. As I see, I'm trying to follow the law. And I know that I won't always be popular when I do. To that extent, I apologize to the hardworking men and women who have come here today to do what they thought was in the best interest of the city of Brooklyn. But that's my word for today, and I'll have to plan accordingly. We'll go from there. Thank you. I want to compliment you all on the professional presentations you made. You're remote class actors. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Dean, do you have any comment on the judge's decision?
Yeah, we feel it's very unfortunate, time that, we don't obviously agree with, while we respect the judge, we don't necessarily agree with the ruling that, they're going to stop the layoffs. Unfortunately, we know what that means in this city. Tomorrow they're going to be laying off 10 firefighters, and that's going to reduce our ability to protect the citizens of Elyria. By closing, essentially one and going down to two, potentially just one fire station in this city. And there is going to be harm caused by us reducing our numbers to that unsafe level.